Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. I have Matthew Radin. He is with Liberty Group, and he's got a unique situation of what he's working with. Matthew, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
All right, Matthew, give us a background on what the Liberty Group does, your involvement with the Liberty Group, and the new path that you're paving when it comes to joint ventures.
Sure. Liberty Group is a collaboration and referral network management organization. Collaboration and referral network management organization, which I call an NMO. And it's patterned after the multiple listing service because we have a lot of in-depth experience with the realtors and the MLS. And we saw that we needed a collaborative system for being able to coordinate transactions better for the benefit of the client. So what we've done is through these...
Go ahead.
So what we found is that through these collaborations, we actually found that there were need for solutions to, an example, the DSO, the Dental Service Organization. There's a need for helping an older dentist transition out, younger dentist transition in, and a hedge fund that wants to invest in it without depriving the dentists of their financial freedom. So that's a great example of what we're doing right now. We call it that Total Smile Protection DSO, and it's a franchise DSO model for getting better results for the patient and helping both dentists, the incoming dentist and the exiting dentist, achieve financial freedom.
Give us some examples of a collaborative or managed collaborative effort that you're working with.
Well, what we've done is we first started with a brand, because we use Liberty, like Liberty Group, Total Protection, and Never Start Again. So if you put those ideas together, Total Protection is obviously you want to protect yourself, and Total Smile Protection is protect your dentist and your patient. We're using branding in a way to facilitate referrals. So, for example, Liberty Digital Marketing Solutions gets a lot of referrals from Financial Liberty Coach that provides the content. Never Start Again is really the mission, which is help people to grow their network so they'll never start again. So great example is dentists who leave the practice of dentistry and want to go into business brokerage, or they call that transition consulting, where they help dentists find buy and sell practices. So that's a place where we need to manage the collaboration, because a lot of dentists who've been dentists are not necessarily the best business brokers, but yet we have collaboration with expert business brokers to work with them so that they can do a better job for their clients. So the Never Start Again mission is a really important one. The Empire Liberty Business Advisors is a collaboration with Empire Business Brokers, one of the granddaddies in the business brokerage business. They've been around since 1981, and we're working together on franchising them and building a specialty division for dentists with them. And Total Smile Protection is another example where the franchise work is being done by Alba. And that because Empire's helped hundreds of companies franchise, and by collaborating with the business broker, the real estate broker, the insurance broker, we actually can help everyone, especially the dentist, but really everyone achieve financial freedom.
Give us an example of how a real life situation was enabled through this process.
Well, the great example is a dentist who sells to a DSO. We call that the wrong DSO, if the dentist still has to work for the rest of his life. So that's what we call selling to the wrong DSO. And we have an article and a video that if anyone is interested in what it means to sell to the wrong DSO at totalsmileprotection.info for information about that. So that'll give you more in-depth information. But at a high level, what we call the Liberty Financial Freedom Formula. In order to have financial freedom, you need your own business, real estate, and bank. And the bank is a combination of the hedge fund, whole life insurance, and other proprietary systems that we can put people into their own bank. So if you contrast a dentist who used the financial freedom formula versus a dentist who did not, the one who did not sold his practice for $500,000. He had a business, but he didn't have a real estate, and he didn't have a bank, and so he had to work for the rest of his life because he could not live on $500,000 for the rest of his life. The other dentist who did use the financial freedom formula sold his practice for $600,000, sold his building, he owned the real estate for $600,000, and then he took that $1.2 million and put it into his own bank where he invested it and was able to double it every 6 or 7 years. So now he's got a nice $4 million retirement that he can retire on because he had his own business, real estate, and bank. And with the hedge fund, we can accelerate that because we can now help the younger dentist to transit to a practice, even if he doesn't have any money, but the hedge fund will take a good chunk of that practice and help him to transition into the practice, where before he didn't really have much hope of having his own business in real estate. So it's exciting.
It is, and you've got an amazing formula. I'm glad to understand it a little bit better now. The other part of an investment banking's perspective is taking this DSO's valuation to a higher level. That way everybody gets a bigger payout on the end. Walk me through that process.
Well, the hedge fund is focused on a 15% annual return on their investments and a 4x to 8x or more on the exit. Mm-hmm. The owner of the hedge fund's wife is a dentist, and the owner of the hedge funds also manage dental offices. So we really know the intimate details of how do you manage a dental office and how do you profit from acquiring a group of offices. So the target for the first year for the DSO for this year, not first year, but for this year, is to add 20 practices to the original 6. But then using technology, systems, and processes that we've aggregated in ways that are proprietary and intellectual property protected, we're building satellites, franchisee satellites of five or more satellites around that company-owned practice, so that we can create the DSO around actually doing the business for those 5 offices, and then refining the processes, and as those processes get better and better, moving them up to the home office, so that this way we should have 100 fairly soon thereafter. And the largest DSO I think is 800. So to go from 100 to 500 to 1,000 is built into the model. So the goal here is to just take what we've learned from everybody else, but focus on first the needs of the patient, then the needs of the staff, and then finally the needs of the dentist. Because if you take care of the patient and the staff, the dentist is going to do just fine. And it's actually been the reverse of what's happened with the private equity and DSOs is, they buy the dentist out, and then the next thing you know, everybody's an employee, and profit is at the top of the list, and the patient comes last. So that's what we think what we're doing is really needed, and should generate significant returns for the investors.
I applaud you on taking that approach and with that concept in mind about putting the patient first, because as the old saying goes, you take care of the nickels, the dollars will take care of themselves. Now, geographically, are you focused in a geographical region, meaning you've got a part of the country that you're expanding from, and will this be a scalable international project that you're going to work with on multiple countries?
Well, the business brokerage, Empire, is an international business brokerage, have 70 plus offices in the United States. So we're definitely focusing on the United States, but even more importantly right now, it's 4 states, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, for several reasons, one of which is regulatory. In Pennsylvania, a non-dentist can own a DSO. So there's a lot of things a lot of connections and people that we know right here, but we're very opportunistic. So if somebody's got an opportunity for us to acquire some offices in another state, and we can show that within a 20, 25-mile radius of that one office, we can franchise 5 or 10, we're definitely open to talking about it.
Yes, because I could see this. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, you've got it mapped out, but I could see this in third world countries just exploding with this new concept coming in there, whether it's Uruguay, throughout Latin America, or it's in Asia. This concept, I doubt seriously, is in Europe, Asia, and Latin America. Am I correct?
Well, I don't really know about that, but I do know one thing for sure. My background's in real estate, realtors, and also insurance. And the dentist insurance company was one of my clients on our collaborative litigation management system in my former life. So I do know that there's a tremendous need for a patient-centric system worldwide. Whenever the patient is not first, you got tremendous risk. You got people losing their licenses. You got some really bad things happen when the patient is put secondary to profit. So whether it's in the United States or international, that's clearly, from a risk management standpoint, it's essential internationally. It's in the same way internationally. When you look at what's happened in franchising, whether it's Century 21 or McDonald's, setting it up as a franchise makes it very conducive to an international licensing deal. So, will I want to help help people in other countries use the Liberty Financial Freedom Formula? I think we've got enough to do right here on that. But if somebody from those countries wants to come in and collaborate with us, manage collaboration, and discuss what's going on there and how we can help, we're definitely open to it. We do have partners in Canada. So if we wanted to do anything along the lines in Canada, we can. And we also know that in Canada, while a lot of healthcare is socialized, dentistry is not. So the same issues about fee for service and coming out of pocket with a lot of money for major dental procedures, it's in Canada just as well. I have no idea what that looks like in Europe or Eurasia, but if somebody wants to collaborate with us on how to create solutions for those areas, I'm definitely open to it.
Well, what sounds like such a great idea, that's where my head went into scalability. Matthew, thank you for being a guest on the show. I really appreciate you spending the time. Stick around after the show. I have a couple of introductions I'm going to make for you, okay?
Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate being here.
My pleasure. You've been watching CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.